Greetings everyone! Today we are going to return to the 9th century in Crusader Kings 3, the times of Northmen adventurers raiding and pillaging coastal provinces, earning wealth and glory. But today we're not going to participate in family feud in England. On contrary to that, we're going somewhere with unpleasant weather conditions. Meet the famous Count Hæsteinn of Montaigu. During his last raid to Mediterranean, he was impressed by the riches this region held, and thus he decided to move from Brittany somewhere closer to such a bountiful land. The best choice for a new holding was an island of Sardinia. Situated in the heart of Mediterranean Sea, it was divided between several judicates that could not provide an adequate response to the fury of invading Northmen. And, after a brief battle, the northern part of the island was taken. This was marked by raising of a rune stone, one of many, which will cover the land where the mightiest Northman step sets. But why stop here? The whole island was to be ruled by Hæsteinn, and thus no other rulers could be tolerated. And this decision was blessed by the birth of Hæsteinn's first daughter, Ingeborg. For some reason, Hæsteinn was sure that one day she would achieve glory of the greatest heroes, but first she had to be properly educated. The mountainous southern part of the island was quite tricky to conquer, but fortunately the foes decided to come closer to Hæsteinn's domain, and this is where they've met their demise. Hæsteinn's bravery and fighting skills of his loyal herd drew attention of local adventurers, who wanted to join Northmen in their venture to riches and glory. The more, the merrier, they say. With a bit of skilled axes, shields and ram work, the fortifications were broken, local noble was captured, and riches were plundered. Finally, Hæsteinn and his brave herd managed to establish control of Sardinia, and so it was high time to proclaim himself as a Jarl of Sardinia. And as for holding in Montaigu, it was given to one of Hæsteinn's loyal Frenchmen, so enjoy the power. Good riddance! After all the celebrations, with the rivers of drinks and best food these lands could offer, the financial situation got rather dire. So, it is high time to fix it, and the best way to fill the pockets is to Viking. So, grab your axes, helmets, and shields. It is time to remind Southerners of Northman fury.
The birth of the second daughter was a sign for Hæsteinn. It meant that it was time to consolidate rich yet defenseless counties of southern Italy. As they really don't pose any military threat, let's grab them in bulk. For some reason unknown, King Charles is still salty, though he got his Frenchy clay back. But we'll see who has the last laugh. Meanwhile, the campaign was going according to the plan. But it seems that not everyone was happy with it. Well then, back to the home island we go. And their leader turned out to be as dumb as a rook. Well, understandable. The gods have blessed this adventure. Napoli and Salerno made a fine addition to the Hæstein's holding, and he even managed to find familiar faces here. Unfortunately, recent conquest resulted in such a carnage that an epidemic has appeared. And the worst part is that some of the prisoners got struck by this ailment. So, some measures have to be implemented. As Hæstein's court has become less crowded, some fresh Mediterranean air could finally break through, and this air, this pleasant wind, was filled with glory of forthcoming victories. While some proved themselves in a battle, others have managed to claim victories in other ways. Well, good for them. The glory of Hæstein's earned him not only a rather fitting name, but also more skilled professionals looking for adventures. And it was always possible to prove oneself in Hæstein's herd. But even the most courageous people cannot escape the spontaneous wrath of resentment. Finally, after a lucky raid on Venice, Hæsteinn was rich and glorious enough to proclaim himself the Conung of Sardinia. This deed provided us with the first achievement, going places. Uneasy lies ahead that wears a crown. From now on, Hæsteinn had even more things to consider, some of which came with or without result. The first major decision of Conung Hæsteinn was to proclaim himself the Conung of Sicily in addition. Having subjugated most of the smaller counties, what was left was holdings of Bavarian king. Fortunately enough, he was preoccupied with internal matters of his own, so it was an easy snatch. On May 21st of 1896, Hæsteinn personally led his brave warriors to battle against King Arnulf. He was a skilled commander, but Hæstein's tactics and raw power blessed Northmen with victory. Hæstein's son, Bersi, proved himself in the battle, and thus he was awarded with land in Sicily. But no one can escape the flow of time, and so aging Hæsteinn started thinking about one last campaign, the greatest battle to be worthy of a saga, which would be passed down by young skalds even centuries after Hæstein's departure to Valhalla.
Even though Basilius had a great army, it was no match for him. And so, Byzantine threat was finally neutralized. Well, at least for now. It seemed that nothing could stop Hæsteinn, but life itself had different opinion. Hæsteinn died like a true Northman, with a weapon in his hands, leading his army towards eternal glory. Now, his son Ragnar had to live up to his father's legacy and become a good ruler to his people. Unfortunately enough, his first problem was his brother, who managed to inherit Sicily and proclaim himself Jarl. Even though Ragnar loved his brother, he knew that Bersi had to be guided or else he would lose all of his lands, which were gained by the father's hard work. So, with a heavy heart, he decided to wage war against his brother. Fortunately, Ragnar managed to capture his brother rather swiftly, uniting the Jarl once again and earning us an achievement, faster than the fox. And we were indeed faster than him. Ragnar's rule can be considered a time of peace and prosperity. Due to his interest in internal affairs, Ragnar mostly focused on building his lands. He supported local businesses, as well as established good relations with local guilds. Yet, he managed to participate in one military campaign, establishing control over Crete Island, which would be a good asset in possible campaigns against Byzantium. But he didn't want to antagonize Basilius yet, so he purchased peace with gold. The most important decision made by Ragnar was the establishment of electoral system. Based on Scandinavian elections, this system would guarantee transfer of power without much bloodshed. His candidate was his own daughter, Ingeborg. From the young age, she had received a proper upbringing by her father and managed to combine the martial skills of her grandfather with administrative skills of her father, and it was high time for Basilius to go. So, first step of the plan was complete. Ragnar's reign ended rather soon, as his daughter ascended to the throne, and as soon as she did, she proved herself as a patron of science, a great commander and a skilled tactician, a merciful and honorable judge, a skilled craftsman, and a great mother. Legends tell us that she even managed to defeat a berserker in a fair fight. Humiliated by the previous defeat, King of Bavaria decided to launch a holy war against Ingeborg. But soon enough, he found out that his decision was rather unwise, as his armies were defeated and his allies captured. The Sardinian kingdom came out of this war even more confident and was ready to finally push into the northern part of Italian peninsula. With advanced weapons of destruction and new tactics born from the last war, the so-called Italian kingdom was no match for the queen's troops. Soon, the king was captured and made to revoke his claims to the title in favor of Ingeborg, who has received this delightful news while hunting wolves. With the last serious claimant to the title gone, Ingeborg could finally proclaim herself
the Empress of the Mediterranean Empire, a new sovereign that will lead the region to the riches and glory. Looks like the Byzantium has plunged into the abyss of internal conflicts. Having contacted Varangiangar and secured their support, Empress Ingeborg decided to end the agony of what was once the Eastern Roman Empire. It seems that the spirit of adventures has led Ingeborg's favorite sister to the throne of Konungar, the ubiquitous capital in the east. The glory of Empress Ingeborg soon became legendary, and even the Kaiser of the Holy Roman Empire joined the honoring. Soon, the walls of Miklagard crumbled upon the strikes of Empress Hird. A dawn of Varangian Kingdom was upon us, and we finally received the Miklagardariki achievement. The spirit of adventures has led Hæstein's dynasty to the highest honors and glory. Only time will tell the future of Mediterranean Empire, but one thing is certain. The legend of Hæstein dynasty will live through the ages, giving inspiration to many. Thanks for tuning in to this story. I hope you've enjoyed it. And remember to stay tuned for more.